Hey there everyone, I'm meteorologist Cassie Nall and this is your 10 weather impact recap for the week. Let's start with a look at some of the top weather stories from around the country. In Hawaii, Kilauea volcano erupted in the early morning hours of April 23rd with lava fountains over 700 feet tall spewing out of the north vent. Now that warm air rising also created a beautiful ashnado, or we could call it an ash devil, that danced around in front of the glowing molten rock. This was episode 45, an eruption that began back in December of 2024. Water along the coast of the Pacific Northwest is naturally acidic, but that acidity is increasing. The University of Washington is studying this ocean acidification and how it could impact industries in the region. Leah Pizzetti shares more about the ongoing research.
Ocean acidification, a global problem, is intensifying in the Northwest, and that's having a domino effect on our ecosystems and food.
Marine organisms that make shells or skeletons, whether that's oysters, crabs, corals, they rely on having the right ocean chemistry around them. And as that ocean chemistry changes because of us, it makes it a lot harder for them to grow.
A study from the University of Washington shows industries like Dungeness crabbing, the largest fishery on the West Coast by revenue, is expected to experience massive decline.
There's been a really big question about how coastal regions, like the really productive fisheries along the west coast of the U.S., the places where we live, work, and play, how the extra carbon dioxide is going to affect them.
Alex Gagna, principal investigator on the study, says West Coast waters are naturally acidic because of something called upwelling. That's a process that drives cold, nutrient-rich, deep waters up to the surface. It has its benefits and creates nutrient-dense oceans where many species thrive. But this water is also naturally more acidic. Then, when you add in the fact that the ocean absorbs a quarter of the carbon dioxide emitted from humans in the air, it creates extra acidic waters. This study proving the problem is getting worse faster. Daunting information made possible by a small creature. Cup corals collected more than 130 years ago capture the makeup of ocean waters before the Industrial Revolution, showing the change.
The U.S.'s first purpose-built research vessel, the USS Albatross, old wooden tall ship, was going up and down the west coast of the United States in the 1890s, 1880s, looking for halibut fisheries. And there were scientists on board who were dutifully, when they were looking for halibut, anything else they got in their nets, they were putting in jars, taking notes and writing. We still have the log books from the 1880s, 1890s, and sending them to the Smithsonian.
Something he hopes people will see and know, in the same way we caused this, we can also be the solution.
The thing that gives me hope and many of the people that work in this field is that we can make a big difference. The amount of carbon dioxide we emit is really what controls our future. And so in many ways, this sort of information can be empowering. It helps us understand what we have to do.
In Georgia, evacuation orders have been issued as two wildfires continue to spread rapidly across southern portions of the state. Officials say more than 50,000 acres have burned between the two biggest blazes. A curfew has been implemented in several fire zones so emergency crews can safely continue battling the flames. These wildfires have also led to the state's first ever mandatory burn ban.
I've said this is a dynamic fire event that is wind driven. It has stoked that fire, and this is a major event. So please, if you're given an evacuation order, leave the scene. This fire is moving at a fast pace, and we do not have much control over where it's currently moving. Please leave.
The Highway 82 fire was discovered in Brantley County on April 20th and has destroyed more than 120 homes. The fire doubled in size over the weekend and is continuing to threaten additional structures.
We've never experienced nothing like this before. We do have a curfew in effect, and that is for those affected zones. Please stay out of there. Everybody, stay out of there. We have constant movement in there with our officials that are trying to combat this thing. And we don't need anybody in there that we don't know that's in there.
In total, more than 150 wildfires are currently burning across Georgia and Florida. Investigators believe one of the Georgia fires may have been started when a balloon from a children's party came into contact with a power line, and another may have sparked from someone welding their gate. Drought conditions continue to worsen across the southeast after one of the warmest and driest winters on record. Exceptional drought is expanding across North Florida and South Georgia, which is where some of those largest fires are currently burning. In East Tennessee, we continue to have severe and extreme drought in place in portions of the valley and the plateau. So how much rain would it actually take to finally get out of this drought? Well, the short answer is a lot, but it can't all happen at once. It took more than 5 months for this drought to develop, so 1 or 2 good rain events isn't going to be enough to erase the deficit that we built up since last year. According to drought.gov, it would take roughly 9 to 10 inches of rain over a 1-month period to get rid of the ongoing drought. We average about 4.5 to 5 inches of rain a month this time of year, so 9 to 10 inches would be about 200% of normal and probably way too much of a good thing. Now, if we expand out that timeline, it would take about 16 to 17 inches of rain to erase the drought over a 3-month period. That would be about 125% of average and much more reasonable. So how are the extended rainfall forecasts looking for the next 3 months? The answer is not that great for the months of May, June, and July. But looking farther ahead into the future, there is some promise when we look at the outlooks for June, July, and August, and July, August, and September. Even the outlook for August, September, and October has our region highlighted for a chance for above average precipitation. If we could have some periodic decent rain events moving into the summer and fall seasons, that would be a really good thing. Obviously, the farther out we go into the future, the less certainty there is. So for now, we'll just take it one system at a time, knowing that every drop helps. In North Carolina, the ongoing drought is now raising concerns about planned data centers in the state that could use millions of gallons of water per day to cool computer components. Liz McLaughlin has the details.
Water levels are already dropping across the state. You can see these stream gauges, all those red dots are record lows. Now some are asking how new demand from data centers could impact supply during drought. Data centers use water mainly for cooling servers, and demand can be significant. Industry estimates show a single hyperscale data center could use up to 1 billion gallons of water a year and as much as 2.7 million gallons a day during peak summer heat. That's enough water to fill about 180 swimming pools or take roughly 159,000 showers. That scale of use is driving some local leaders, including in Chatham County, to pass a 1-year moratorium on data centers.
That probably weighed on the minds of our commissioners in deciding to pass the moratorium more than anything else. We know that our climate future is at risk. We are in the process of creating a climate plan for Chatham County, and the use of water, the byproduct of any industry, is a significant concern for us.
Across the country, 36 states are now considering new rules around data center water use. North Carolina is not one of them. Right now, there are no requirements or proposals for data centers to report or limit water use, even in times of drought. Researchers say water use can fluctuate throughout the year, often dropping during cooler months. But as temperatures rise, demand can climb, and with climate change driving hotter conditions, that could mean more water use over time.
And the southeast isn't the only part of the country suffering from dry conditions. As of the latest update, 63% of the continental U.S. is in a drought. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, 2026 has the largest drought area on record for the spring season. In California, fire officials are working to reduce the risk of homes burning down during wildfires by creating something called a Zone Zero. Cornell Barnard explains the reasoning behind the proposal.
Our 5-foot barrier is here, So we have just put this in this past week.
Ollie Larson showing off his new fire-safe landscaping at his Hilltop Corte Madera home. It includes nothing flammable near the house. It's called Zone Zero.
It's a statement to the insurance companies that we are trying to do something because they are on the hook.
I see some hazardous vegetation along people's driveways.
Central Marin Fire Battalion Chief Todd Lando says if you live in high-risk fire areas, you need to protect your home.
Anything that can ignite in that first 5 feet puts the house at risk. And that's what the science shows us. That's what our experience fighting these fires is showing us.
Lando knows all about Zone Zero. In fact, he came up with the name.
We think the name fits, and now it's caught on.
Even California's Board of Forestry and Fire Protection has adopted it. It will soon require homeowners in fire-prone areas to eliminate anything combustible within 5 feet of their house, even most plants.
But the reality is even well-manicured and well-watered plants still at the right temperature are going to burn.
The rules only apply to areas with notable and very high fire hazard. Residents would be required to replace any combustible fencing or gates attached to the house. Some of the Zone Zero rules are already being adopted in the North Bay and in Berkeley, where there has been pushback.
It's personal. It's my yard.
What we find is the pushback comes from people who are simply resistant to change often, who are very attached to the vegetation and the aesthetics around their home.
Lando points to this dramatic demonstration at a recent Fire Safe festival. The house on the left with plants and debris near the base burning fast. The house on the right with 5 feet of defensible space was safe.
The North Carolina Forest Service is offering work experience for incarcerated men, teaching them how to fight fires and opening doors for future career possibilities. Gracie Palmer spoke with some of those offenders and what this opportunity means for them.
The North Carolina Forest Service is turning to an unexpected group for help: incarcerated individuals, teaching them how to fight wildfires while also giving them a second chance. There's no handcuffs or security for these offenders from the Caldwell Correctional Center. Just fire gear and a shot at a second chance.
They give you the chance to do better, find new ways to work.
These 4 men, Alexander, Greg, Richard, and Tucker, are currently serving time in Caldwell County for nonviolent crimes. But in the meantime, they've volunteered to assist the North Carolina Forest Service.
They get to come out of the prison and come into the community and do meaningful work for communities and for the Forest Service and the private citizens of the western part of the state.
These 4 are part of dozens of incarcerated men across the state working under the Forest Service's Bridge program.
So we are there to provide the manpower for these hand lines on fires where we can't get equipment and we can't get people easily.
When they're not fighting fires, the offenders are doing other manual labor like carpentry or trail work.
They give us a lot of options as far as what we can possibly do with this on the outside, all the experience we've gained, all the formal training we've had.
The program mutually benefits the Forest Service and the offenders, allowing them to earn a little bit of money, gain work experience, and potentially find a job after their release. The men tell me that this program has changed their lives.
Sounds kind of cheesy, but it's mainly, going out with the guys every day, doing something different, working with the project leaders.
The program has been around since 1987, with former members going on to accept jobs at the Forest Service.
Getting the opportunity to do these things and get these skills where otherwise they probably couldn't other places.
More than a year and a half after Hurricane Helene brought catastrophic flooding to southern Appalachia, only one road project remains unfinished in East Tennessee. Earlier this month, Department of Transportation crews started work on the bridge over the Nolichucky River in Washington County. TDOT leaders say the bridge is on track to open again later this spring. This is the last of TDOT's 29 Hurricane Helene-related repair projects. A major gift from one local businessman is helping people in Cott County move forward after the destruction from that historic storm. Lauren Davis explains how the donation will improve life in the county now and in the future.
As Cott County continues its recovery efforts after Hurricane Helene, a major donation is set to make a big impact. Officials say the $1 million gift will help fund critical needs across the community. From homes to farms to local businesses, Cott County is still rebuilding after severe flooding nearly 2 years ago.
We went to Johnson County and Carter County and Unicoi County and Cott County, and they shared so many different needs. We decided just to give them a block grant and let them spend the money the best way they knew how.
Instead of directing the funds, the Boyd Foundation is letting local leaders decide how the money is spent. based on what the community needs most.
It's wonderful. It's also a big vote of confidence that our community, that someone has, that they have the faith and the confidence in the progress that we've made.
That money will support what leaders call Phase 3 of recovery.
Phase 3 is also going to be, Phase 3 is going to be really more about, it's going to be helping our citizens, but it's going to be also with an eye on continuing recovery, but also resilience and preparation for the next disaster, such as our volunteer fire departments.
Cott County Mayor Rob Mathis says the volunteer fire departments were stretched thin during the floods and now need resources to be ready for whatever comes next.
I think situations like this either reveal the best or the worst, and that's a choice that we all have to make, pull together or fall apart. And for us, we have chosen for it to show the best of who we are and for us to pull together as a community and as a region.
And recovery is an ongoing effort.
I think a message I would like to share now is that the work isn't done. There's still so many needs left, and there's so many needs for more donations.
Mayor Mathis says it's a great feeling to still have people reaching out to help nearly 2 years after Hurricane Helene. Reporting in Cott County, I'm Lauren Davis.
And now let's get a check of your 7-day forecast and cooler temperatures. That's the big headline here. Highs only in the 60s as we finish out the week and move into the weekend. As of now, Saturday looks to be the coolest day with highs only in the low 60s. Our average low right now, by the way, is about 51 degrees. So we're talking below average highs and lows dropping into the 40s, even the 30s as we go Saturday night into the day Sunday. Might have to watch for some patchy frost in some of our northern counties or typically colder locations. So check back for updates if you have sensitive plants there. We warm back up as we go into next week, but something I noticed on this 7-day, not a lot of rain. So hopefully we can get a more active pattern going beyond this point. And by next week's recap, I'll be able to tell you that we might make a dent in our current ongoing drought. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can get the latest forecast and watch our 24/7 live radar anytime with the WBIR Plus app. You can download it for free and watch on your TV.